Hey y'all, what is up everybody? What is up YouTube? Sparky Mark here, and I'm back to do a review and unboxing of a certain item. And what is in this here package? And it looks to me I got it from Madrid, Spain. Yeah, it is from Madrid, Spain. So enough, but before we look at this item, if you saw the title, you already know what it is. And I'm gonna take a look at history from the year it's from the year it was made. So no chit chat, let's take a look. Did I order a burrito from this? Oh, it's well protected. Alrighty, folks. Enough talking about, but it is protected very well, and I give it an A plus. Definitely an A plus. So enough chit chat. Let's look at the watch. Alrighty, before we look into the timepiece that we're going to review, let's talk about 1991. What a year, folks! Wow, 33 years ago. Wow. I was born that year, but in April 23rd. And during the time of New Year, we had really cool films and video games, like, for instance, take the title of, what is it? Hard Driven for Sega Genesis, released on January 1st. And then also we had a movie called Bikini Summer, tagline, A Summer They'll Never Forget. And you had the EDF for Earth Defense Force for the arcade, which was released on January 2nd that year. And also you had another, then this is the arcade machine for the EDF, Earth Defense Force. Then you had a low-budget Roger Corman movie called Dun Warriors, released on January 8th that year. Very cool, low-budget action film from Concord Pictures, or under the name of New Horizons. January 11th, we had the release of Warlock, which was directed by Steve Miner. Then that same day, we had the Jean-Claude Van Damme film Lionheart. Then, January 18th, we had the release of directed by a writer turned filmmaker named, this is the writer slash director's second film. John Milius directed this film called Flight of the Intruder, starring Danny Glover, Brad Johnson, and Willem Dafoe. And it's a good film, and it was loosely, I believe, based on a book, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so it is. So yeah, good action film. And then this is a weapon called the Colt Model M727 carabine with M203 grenade launcher attached. Very good one. Then you have the season 5 of Raccoons. And then you have the film starring Tracy Lords, the series, okay, January 23rd and January 29th for the season beginning, I mean, towards its final season, I believe. And also, January 31st was the release of Shock 'em Dead with Tracy Lords. And then February 1st, the Book of Love. That same day, Popcorn, very cool low-budget movie, check that out, folks. A Jackie Chan movie called Armor of God 2 Operation Condor. This is a Hong Kong poster. Then you have Puppet Master, that was, and yeah, released the same day, February 7th that year, was Puppet Master 2. Then February 8th was Sleeping with the Enemy, starring Julia Roberts and Patrick Bergin and Kevin Anderson. Very cool film, directed by Joseph Rubin. Then February, Valentine's Day, 1991, we had the release of Silence of the Lambs. Of course, it's based on the Thomas Harris novel, directed by Jonathan Demme. Very cool film. No lie, no kidding. And then February 22nd that year, we had the sequel, Bride of Reanimator, starring the great Jeffrey Combs playing the role of Dr. Herbert West. Then March 8th was the release of American Ninja 4, The Annihilation. And it marked the final appearance of the role of Armstrong, played by the awesome Michael Dudikoff. And Brad David Bradley played the role in this one, and then he was in the fifth American Ninja film. New York City Jack with Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, and Ice-T, Chris Rock, Mario Von Peebles, and Judd Nelson. Wesley Snipes plays the kingpin of New York. Distributions and this and that. He's the villain, and then our three heroes here. This one, New York Jack City, New Jack City was released on the same day as American Ninja 4. March 15 with the video game from Capcom, Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. And then the same day we had the film with martial arts actor Jeff Speckman with James Hong. If I'm not mistaken, he's in this movie. Oh, never mind. He's not in this movie. But it was directed by the guy that brought us Kickboxer, Mark DeSalle, if I said his name right. It's called The Perfect Weapon. And then we had March 22nd, we had the sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Then the same day we had the third installment of the Delta Force films, but in my opinion, 1 and 3 are cool. And it's Delta Force 3, The Killing Game. And then we have Nukem High 2, Subhumanoid Meltdown, March 28th, 1991. Then March 29th, we had the movie Career Opportunities with Frank Whaley, Jennifer Connelly. Also, we had it stars Dermot Mulroney and his brother. It's a cool film. That was from the producer John Hughes. And it was directed by Brian Gordon. Distributed by Universal Pictures that year. Then we have Uncaged, aka Angel in Red, released on April 5th, 1991. And then we have Toy Soldiers, released on April 26, 1991. Kind of like Die Hard on a boarding school. I'll zoom this in and you can read the tagline. And pause it if you want to read it. Cool film. May 13, 1991 was the release of Robin Hood. And it stars Patrick Bergin as Robin Hood, and Uma Thurman plays Mary, the Robin Hood's love interest. Jurgen, I know this guy. Edward Fox plays Prince John, Jordan Knable. It's a good film, directed by John Irvin. So check that out. And also you have Martial Law, released on May 16, 1991, starring Cynthia Rothrock, David Carradine, and Chad McQueen. Cool film. Then you had the fourth installment of the Omen series, Omen 4: The Awakening, and May 20th that year, and it was directed by the guy that brought us Halloween 5, director Dominique Orthin Gerard, Swiss-French guy. Then, May 22nd, we had the release of Straight Outta Brooklyn. Don't get confused with Straight Outta Compton. It's just Straight Outta Brooklyn. Read the tagline. Just let me zoom and you can just press it. Pause it and read it. And also you have the supposed Rock and Roll High School sequel, Rock and Roll High School Forever, starring Corey Feldman. And who else is in this? You can read that. Then there's the poster of the film. Then we have this other film called Robo Tricks, released on May 31st. Rock and Roll High School Forever was May 23rd. And this Robo Tricks was released on May 31st that year. June 14, 1991 was the release of Kickboxer 2. And starring martial arts actor and martial artist Sasha Mitchell. And of course we have the villain, Tong Po, coming back. Who played Tong Po in this one? Oh yeah, Misha DC. Yeah, he's the villain in this movie, as in the sequel. Then we had The Racketeer, released on June 21st, 1991. Then we had June 28th was the release of Scanners 2, The New Order. Then for a gaming system, we had the SNK Neo Geo 8ES, released on July 1st, 1991. And then Duke Nukem for the DOS, for the MS DOS, that is. And then that same day we had Alien Storm for the Sega Genesis cartridge. For the Sega Mega Drive, sorry. And then, of course, July 3rd was the release of Problem Child 2. And I mean, I wish we couldn't just have the release of the television cut of the movie. The theatrical cut was okay, not great or fun, but okay. And it had the element of John Waters in this film. But still, they should release the TV cut with scenes that make sense. The theatrical cuts just have scenes popping out of nowhere. And also, we have the T-800 Ectoskeleton, which, of course, July 5th was the release of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'll get to that. And also, the same time, the release of Alligator 2 The Mutation. The sequel to the 1980 film Alligator. Very fun creature feature movie. Guarantee you love it. Also, we had Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Coming back as our hero, as this guy, whatever. Coming back as the T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the Terminator, Robert Patrick playing the villain, the T-1000. Linda Hamilton is back as our female hero, and Sarah Connor. And this one made a lot of money, and it beat the comedy movie Problem Child 2 to a pulp. Then, of course, July 5th, 1991, and then July 8th, 1991 was the release of the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, directed and I believe edited or just directed by none other than, well, you might know who this guy is. He was the editor in Halloween 2, Rambo 2, Commando, Nightbreed, and directed Dead Alive or something? I believe he worked with, that was the film starring Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams. Yeah, and the director is Mark Goldblatt. And this is the guy who directed it. He directed The Punisher. He had to read Punisher comics, Dolph Lundgren tried the role. He played it great. Don't care what anyone says. But it's a shame that the creator, Stan Lee, found the film to be too violent. He wrote the comic book. He created the character. Why would he say this movie is too violent? You create a character, you see how it got adapted. Dolph Lundgren is a definitive Punisher. Forget the Thomas Jane, the Ray Stevensons. Those have fan followings. I myself and Pizzo ain't one of them. And it also stars Louis Gossett Jr. Then we have the Omega Speedmaster 145-0022, Perpetual Calendar, part of the 700th anniversary of Switzerland. Me, 3 months old. Then we have the season 2 of Beverly Hills 90210. Then on July 12th, we had the release of Boys in the Hood, directed by a first-time director named John Singleton. And then that same day, we had the release of Point Break, directed by Catherine Bigelow, and it was, and it was, of course, executive producer James Cameron, who was married to Catherine Bigelow, and stars Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. Then, July 19th, we had the sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And then we have a two-tone Rolex Daytona 16-523, released on July 23rd. And then we have, that same day was the release of the Sega Master System 2. And then we have the Tudor Prince date, Submariner. Tudor Prince Date Submariner, released on July 25th, 1991, reference number 79090. Then July 31st, we had the release of Fast Getaway, story starring Corey Haim, Leo Rossi, Cindy Rothrock, Marsha Strassman, if I said the name right. And it was directed by a coordinator who will later be doing other big movies, but involved in stunts. Spario Razio, if I said his name right. Also, you have Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen, and it was released on July 31st, the same day as Fast Getaway. Coincidence. August 1st was the release of Marble Madness for the Mega Drive. Me at 4 months old with my pops. August 8th, we had the release of Subspecies, very cool film. That was by Full Moon. August 9th was the release of the Jean-Claude Van Damme action hit Double Impact, which of course Jean-Claude Van Damme plays twins in this film. Two brothers separated at birth, and now they join forces for revenge. And then August 13 is the video game for the SNES called Plot Wings. That's what it's called. And then we have an old 18 karat gold, yellow gold, reference 16528, Rolex Zenith Daytona. Magnificent. Then this is the watch we're going to be looking at, which is of course a Casio. W-725-1. That's what we're going to be looking at, folks. And then August 20th, and this watch was released the same day as Transfers 2, August 22nd. Okay, that time we had the release of Transfers 2, The Return of Jack Death. The Future Cop is back. And SNES, the Super SNES that is, released on August 23rd. Then the same day we have for the SNES, Super Mario World. Then we have another Corey Haim film released on August 30th called Prayer for the Roller Boys. Also starring Patricia Arquette. And some familiar faces like Christopher Collect, who was in The Manhattan Project and Sleepaway Camp, and J.C. Quinn, directed by Rick King. Very good film. Check it out. Then on August 30th, we had the film Child's Play 3. This is like an Uncle Sam poster. Chucky wants you. And the tagline for this movie, look who's stalking. The film is fine. We got recently a 4K release and a wonderful Blu-ray. Too bad there's no television cut. Kind of disappointed, but it is on the deleted scenes. But still, we could have got a decent TV cut. Oh well. Next one is September 1st, 1991 was the release for the Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2 for the Game Boy. And then there's me at 5 months old with my old man. And then there's Soldiers of Fortune, released on September 4th, 1991. Super Set NES version, released on September 10th, 1991. And then we have the VB1000 data... sorry, folks. Casio VDB 1000 data bank. And it's a touchscreen. September 10th. And September 13th, we have the release of the 6th Nightmare on Elm Street film. They saved the best for last. Freddy's Dead, A New Nightmare. And it was directed by a female director named Rachel Taglier, if I said her name right. And then we have the final season for Ghostbusters, which was season 7. And we have a Rolex Cosmograph Daytona 16518 gold. And the band is different. That was September 17th. And then September 18th, we have the Sega Mega Drive for Streets of Rage. And then we have the third installment of the Ghoulies films, Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College, which was the Omega effects, and the film was directed by John Carl Buechler, the guy that brought us Friday the 13th Part 7, Trolls. Yeah, he didn't direct Trolls 2, so my bad on the previous video that I mentioned. And then he brought us Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. And this one. And he did other projects. Then we have the film Arena, released on September 18th that year. And then on September 19th that year is the German release for Toy Soldiers, but in Germany it's pronounced Boy Soldiers. I gotta say, that poster looks kind of cool, by the way. Looks like badass, and these heroes are about to kick ass. So yeah, this is the German poster. Then we have the season 10th of Cheers. Then we have the Japanese release for for Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Released in Japan on October 12th. October 17th is the release of Puppet Master 3, Toland's Revenge. And then we have singer and rapper Vanilla Ice in his first motion picture, Cool as Ice. And the film was directed by David Kellogg, whom 8 years later would direct Inspector Gadget. But oh no, this is a cool film. Give it a watch, folks. I gotta give it a watch sometime. And then we have the rapper group Kid and Play back, Martin Lawrence, Tisha Campbell Martin, and also starring Queen Latifah and Full Force in House Party 2, the Pajama Jam. Pajama Jammy Jam, that is. Released on October 23rd, 1991. Yeah, October 18th was this movie and that. Then the same day we had the release for The Killing Street, starring Michael Paré and Lorenzo Lamas and Jennifer Runyarn, that as well. Michael Paré plays twins in the film because he plays the role of a brother who's being held hostage, and his twin brother, also played by Paré, is trying to make sure to find a way to get his brother back, and Lorenzo Lamas is a liaison and a CIA agent who's helping him. Very kick-ass movie, no lie about that. Also, October 25th, we had the release of Two Evil Eyes, directed by Giorgio Romero, Dario Argento, and Franco Ferroni, if I said his name right. Man, it's a good film, by the way, and the effects were done by the great Tom Savini. Then that same day, we had the release of the Chuck Norris film, The Hitman, also starring Michael Parks. And then we have a Michael Dudikoff movie called Marine Fighter, aka The Human Shield. And also The People Under the Stairs, directed by the great Wes Craven. November 1st, 1991, this film was released, this one. And then we have that same day, we have the movie the video game for the SNES called Actraiser, whatever this game is. Create Order from Chaos. Then for the Capcom for the SNES is Snow Bros. Snow Brothers, that is. And then that year in that same day, November 1st, was the release of Highlander 2, The Quickening, with Christopher Lambert as Highlander, Connor McLeod, Virginia Madsen, Michael Ironside, and the great Sean Connery. And then November 2nd, we have the release for the SNES for the game called Super Tennis. And November 8th, we have the release for the Battle Girl, City of the Living Dead in Tokyo Bay. Cool film. Final Fight for the SNES for November 10th, released on November 10th. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, released for the SNES on November 13th. Then on that same day, we have the release for Dream Machine, starring Corey Haim. Very cool film. And then we have Tiger Cage 3, released on November 14th. And then Beauty and the Beast, November 22nd, 1991, from the folks from Disney. And then what else? Final Fantasy IV for the SNES, released on November 23rd, 1991. Then November 27th, we have the release of Doll Man, starring the great Tim Thomerson. And who else? And also Jackie Hurley-Haley in one of his other projects, and Nicholas Guest. And the film was directed by Albert Pyun. 13 Inches with Attitude. And we have Super Ghouls and Ghost for the SNES, released on November 28th. Super Bowl for the NES, released on December 3rd, 1991. And then the next one on December 4th is Super Castlevania 4 for the from Konami to the SNES. Apparently, the Creations was by Konami and distributed for the SNES. December 6th is the Rockman 4, Arturo Euro, aka Mega Man. This is a Japanese cartridge. And then, December 11th, we have the Casio DKW-100 business card data bank with Chinese dictionary. December 11th, that same day, we have the Steven Spielberg classic Hook, starring Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Bob Hoskins, and Julia Roberts. And then we have Critters 3, released on that same day, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio. Yep, this was Leonardo DiCaprio's earliest films. And here's me at 8 months old. And then we have Dawn the Dragon Wilson in Ring of Fire, released on December 18th. December 20th is the release of JFK, and it was directed by Oliver Stone. Plus, he wrote the script with another writer. And it has an all-star cast, by the way. And it's out right now on 4K from the folks over at Shelf Factory. I got to get my hands on a copy of that. 4K UHD. And then for the SNES, we have EDF, Earth Defense Force, released... Oh, never mind. That's it, folks. That is the end of 1991. Wow, that was a mouthful. So enough with all that. Let's go to the watch. Alrighty, so let's see the watch, folks. And here it is. And here's the tag. Casio W-725-1V. Module number 1000. Wow, 1000, folks. Look at the backplate. Pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure you've ever seen this kind of watch in certain low-budget films in the 90s, or perhaps direct videos, action films, suspense, whatever. I don't even know where exactly, but the shape is amazing. And what and this would later be in something like the feel of it on the DW290 models, or sometime released in the mid-90s or the late 90s. Okay, so you have everything here. All right, you got your alarms. You hear that? Okay, I'm not pressing that again. You hold this. Huh, that's the light button. Okay, okay, let me just get rid of this because I don't want to use the alarm. I hate using the alarm. Then you hold it, you go to your signal, and you got both, and then you use it again to use that again to like eliminate. All right, got your alarm, signal, DT, dual time, and then my personal favorite, the timer. So that's what you're gonna get, folks. And then you got your stopwatch. When you press the light, it splits. Press it, it continues. And you can see that arrow right there. You see, and you see these things flashing. That. Press that, you press this adjust button. No way. Oh wait. And you press this button. No, this one. You hold it for a couple of seconds. Huh. You press the light button, you have to hold it to make sure it stops. Okay, let me see if it does the test screen mode. Hold on, folks. So yeah, let's see. Yep, it has a test screen mode. Okay, you have to make sure your hand is pressed here and here and here. These are the 3 buttons you have to press at the same time, and it has the test screen mode. And it has REM as well. Correct, what is it? Water resist 100 meters on here and here. WR, that's the name of it. Alarm chrono. Very good shape, very good details. Yes. Very, very cool. Amazing piece to be released in the summer of '91. Admire that, folks. Admire it. So yeah, anybody around born in the early 80s, or perhaps anybody remembers when they were very young, very little, about 1991, anybody born in the 70s and such, or anybody that remembers 1991, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if any of you young BUCKSs have folks that were young at the time in 1991 before you was born, let me know. What do your parents remember doing anything in 1991? Heck, I was a baby. That's all I can tell you, folks. But cool films and video games were out that year. And music, folks. Yeah. Alrighty then. Now let's play music from 1991. Alrighty, folks. So with all that out of the way, let's play a song from 1991 with Rozola, if I said the name right, with the hit song, Everybody's Free. Enjoy, folks. That was Rosalla. Rozalla with the hit song Everybody's Free. So yeah, folks, what do you think of this timepiece? And also, what do you think of this video? I talked about 1991. And like I said, tell me what you guys know a little bit about 1991. Heck, to anybody born in the 80s or the late 70s or whatever era you were born from, who could remember 1991? And yeah, I mean, again, I was a baby. Who knows? Yeah, I was just a baby back then. And even one of my homies were just babies at the time. Heck, I was only, yeah. That's all you have to know, folks. If you like content like this or any other content, please click the bell and the subscribe button to be notified of new uploads. Like the videos, you have any opinions, comment down below. And always appreciate the thumbs ups. So, y'all, and I'm in the YouTube community, and I often post what time I post videos at a certain time, though. And do other things and such. Even leave you the links for any projects that are about to come up from certain places or pre-orders. So y'all, this is Marky Mark signing off. Y'all take care. God bless you, hear you, and see you on the next vid. Enjoy the weekend, y'all, and later.